Hey everyone, thanks for watching 5 on Fry with me, AJ Fry. We've got a great episode for you. Oh, we're going to talk about so many wonderful things. Halloween, of course, a short horror film that I directed. We'll be talking about a lightsaber battle that I went to, as well as the new game from Nintendo, Miitomo. And of course, we'll talk about Toronto's finest, or should I say worst. It's going to be a great episode of 5 on Fry. Let's start it now. Looks like I've got a little something in my teeth.
Of course, Halloween is this Saturday. Don't worry, I won't keep the voice up for the whole episode. And Halloween has been and always will be my absolute favorite holiday. I love dressing up, love getting candy, love hanging out with all my friends, and all the mayhem and mischievousness of Halloween. It's kind of like a little bit of April Fool's Day, my second favorite holiday, mixed in to an even better holiday where people get to dress up. I heard that people don't celebrate Halloween across the pond in the UK. Boggles my mind. It's such a great holiday. So what I'm going to be doing this Halloween is going off to the Silver Snail Halloween party. I believe it's called Snailoween, and I can remember the first time I went to this party some years ago. Walking into it, it was like going into a Halloween party in the movies. Never before had I seen so many amazing costumes, and only in movies and on television would you see parties where people were dressed up in such fantastic costumes. I was always like, there's no such thing. It's just made up for the movies, Halloween parties where people are dressed up in costumes like that. So if you're in the GTA and you got the bucks to spare, I highly recommend the Silver Snail party. Last year, we unfortunately missed it, but the year before, Zara and I actually went as Prince Bubblegum and Fiona from Adventure Time. I'm not going to tell you what we are going to be this year, but if you pay attention to my social media accounts, you'll see plenty of pictures. Why did my theme song just play right there? That was a little bit weird. All right, there it is again. Let's move on to the next topic before this continues. By the way, my Adobe Premiere keeps crashing, so I'm not doing any editing on this episode, just laying everything out, and hopefully it will export. So sorry that there's no pictures or anything extra in this. I just want to get this episode done so I can get out of this costume. But I did edit something pretty awesome this week that you can watch as well on my vlog channel. It's a Halloween horror short story that was produced for Inner Space. There's this company called Spaceify, and you can book creative spaces through their website, through their service. And as an example of what you can do with some of the spaces that you can rent through their service, we shot a short horror film in this beautiful, expensive, huge condo here in Toronto. My producer Amy Pagnotta and I kind of collaborated on this. I would say I did a fair bit of the directing, and I edited it myself and added all the special effects and sound effects. So you can watch that on my vlog channel. Maybe I'll put a little thingy up here so you can do that. But all right, next topic. So this past Saturday, there was actually a giant lightsaber battle in downtown Toronto put on by a company called New Mindspace. They've done these for a number of years, and if you've never been to a lightsaber battle, it's exactly what it sounds like. Lots of people show up in costume or not, but you gotta have a lightsaber, and people will come up and you'll have a lightsaber battle. Someone decapitated me with their lightsaber at one point. It wasn't very nice, but I got to go along with the Toronto Star. There was a reporter named Mike and a photographer who got some amazing photos named Todd, who I was with. I'm gonna put a link to the article down below so you can see all the fun photos from the event, but if you've never been to a lightsaber battle before, highly recommend it. Lots of fun. You'll meet lots of other Star Wars fans and see lots of amazing costumes. If you don't live in Toronto and you don't have a lightsaber battle in your city, but you think it sounds cool, why not consider starting one of your own? I'm sure if you publicize it through social media, lots of people locally who are into Star Wars will turn up, and it might be a great way to make some new friends. So this big news came out yesterday. Nintendo unveiled their first ever mobile game. So a game that Nintendo has put out that isn't for a Nintendo system, but your regular smartphones. And it's called Miitomo, and it makes use of the Miis that were originally introduced with the Wii system back in 2006. And it's a bit of a social networking game for people who are maybe a little bit shy, who suffer from social anxiety. You can introduce yourself to other people through your Miis. This is what I gather, just the gist of things. Now, personally, as you might have noticed, I'm a bit of a Nintendo fanboy. I did have Mario show up at my wedding, and Zara and I still love our Wii U, and having friends over playing Mario Kart or Super Smash Brothers or Mario Party, any of those games. So to find out that the first game that Nintendo's putting out for mobile phones is really just this social thing is a bit of a disappointment, but if they're doing it from the perspective of let's put out something simple and easy first so that we can figure out how this whole system works, before they go and introduce the big bad games that we're all hoping to get our hands on, something featuring Mario, something featuring Link and Zelda from that world, or Pokemon on smartphones, though that's not a franchise that I particularly play. If they're doing it just to get their feet wet and to understand things, then I get it. I think we just all wanted those fun Nintendo games on the go without needing to download an emulator. So Nintendo, please get more games on the way. But then again, I do have my 3DS, so really, what do I have to complain about? Alright, this next story is going to be a little tricky to talk about because so often in our media right now, whenever police do things that are not good or perceived as bad, everyone rushes to talk about it and expose it, and all the good things that police officers do in our community, when they protect people, when they help people, it's not highlighted because that's just what police officers are supposed to do, so we don't talk about it. So I want to make it clear that what I'm about to talk about isn't me saying police officers are bad, but there is one case recently that just happened that sparked some thoughts up in my noggin, and basically what happened was one boy pulled a gun on a girl. It turned out later on to be just an airsoft gun, as the police eventually found the right 10-year-old boy. But what happened was a 10-year-old boy and his 15-year-old brother were walking along some train tracks, and all of a sudden 10 police officers with guns drawn came storming at them, telling them to get on their knees, get on the ground, thinking they were the boy who had pulled the gun because the descriptions kind of matched. Now, when asked about this, the police officer said, well, or a police officer, I should clarify, said, well, you've got to remove the fact that it's a 10-year-old boy. Which is kind of like saying to your parents when they say, hey, did you steal cookies from the cookie jar? Well, you gotta remove the cookies from the equation. I mean, people are outraged because guns were drawn on a 10-year-old boy who did not have a gun on him. He was the wrong guy. And honestly, if you saw two kids walking anywhere and they didn't have guns pulled out, why would you need to have a drawn weapon when you're approaching them? Unless there is a threat visible in the moment, maybe you can keep your guns holstered when you approach kids. Now, all that said, isn't it wonderful that in this instant, the police officers didn't kill anybody? So, I mean, that's the new standard of, like, good police work. You didn't accidentally kill an innocent person. That isn't the Toronto police specifically, but it seems like these instances of police using heavy, excessive force are happening all over the world, so we've got a new standard for celebration. All right, I've talked too long on that subject. You can find a link to an actual news article about that incident down below, because again, I'm not really a journalist, I'm just paraphrasing and offering some thoughts, and this time not editing any of this, so you can get all my ums and uhs in here as well. Thank you so much for watching. This week, you can see my final Halloween costume on Instagram and the social medias tomorrow on Actual Halloween. Hope you have a good one. Thanks for watching. See you in the future.